Pretty sure they said it was going to be the hottest day of the year today, so it's going to be interesting. Hello everyone, welcome to another studio vlog. I'm back in my studio today after my holidays. I've popped a video up of us climbing Scafell Pike, or Scarfell Pike, I kept saying it wrong. I showed you all how we climbed up and we had a really good time. It was really hard, but it's definitely worth doing. Main thing I want to talk about today is my cards. Show you the quality and what my expectations were and what it turned out to be from SixPrint. It's good, I just want to say. So I want to show you that, and then I also want to show you some bits of my story that have been coming on, the new book that I'm working on, which hasn't got a name yet. I'm very, very excited because my SixPrint order has come, which means my cards have come. I'm gonna have a look through now. I haven't looked at it yet. So sorry about my fingers. I dyed my hair purple and now my fingers are also purple. But it will fade because it's happened loads of time before. I think this is just to show some cardstock. Yeah, sample A6 postcard. That's really cute though. I like that. Very pretty. Then we've got a SixPrint sample for their Permajet portrait white paper. Feels nice though. So we've got just a plain brown recycled card, envelope, not card, sorry. Let's have a look underneath. Me all these little sheets of polyethylene, I don't know what they're called actually. It's like that saran wrap stuff, but for your cards after. And then here is the big reveal. Just gonna have a look at it. Part of me is thinking, what if the print quality isn't great? What if I've printed them wrong? What if something's wrong with them because I didn't check them with a proof or anything? Looking good. Look here. Oh my god, I love them. They're so nice. I love them so much. Obviously they're flat at the moment. I don't want to touch them because I feel like I'm going to damage them. Oh, they're so lovely. See, my logo is on the back. The texture's really nice. And the illustration looks really good. It actually looks a lot better in person. As usual with most things in life. Well, I don't know actually, is that the case? Most things in life, I don't know, but with watercolor definitely better looking in person. Oh, I'm so happy with that. Lovely job, great job SixPrint, you did me good. I'm glad I went with them now. So I'm gonna put these on my Etsy shop and they're gonna be my first ever thing that I'm selling. Obviously I need to take product photos and sort all that stuff out. I've never sold on Etsy, so that'll be fun. I've never worked that out before. But I'll probably pop a video up as well with me exploring Etsy and how to sell on it. But I'm so excited, they look so good. I think what I'll do is I'll add below what sort of card I chose and like print quality stuff, you know, below. I don't know if I did that in my last video, I can't remember, but I'm going to pop it in the below bit. So it's another day today. I'm just having a look at the cards a bit more in detail, and it's really good quality actually. So all the details, they look a lot more fine. Now it's been scaled down, which is really cool because it's about 50% the size that it was when it was the big drawing. Yeah, so I've got the original artwork here and the coloring's really good. There you go. It's pretty much exactly the same, which is really cool, and I'm really happy with it. But yeah, it's about 50% of the size that it was when I painted it. But I think this is a good size for cards. It's 15 centimeters by 15 centimeters, and it's blank on the inside, and then you've got on the back whatever logo you really want. I've decided to call this one Walk in the Woods, and then it's just blank for your own message, and I've just put Laura Bosley illustration, and then my website and Instagram, which is what I use the most. So yeah, very, very happy. These are going to get put on Etsy. I'm going to have a look anyway and see what's the best options for me, and what's the easiest way to do it, like slowly, gradually, because I don't have much time, but the time that I do have, I want to make the most of it. So let's make sure that this does work. So yeah, I'll pop an update on anyway. If you're following me on social media, then hopefully you'll be able to see when I've got them on sale, and then you can have yourself one of these lovely cards. I'm just going to pop it in one of the sheaths that they provided, because that's how they'll come to you. So it's just a simple plastic wrap. I think this is how I'll have them, in a little sheath, or the little sheath that they've got, and then have the envelope on the inside, because then you can see the backing as well. I wonder if it's possible to start getting those stickers. You see on cards now, they're just stuck together here, because, you know, to avoid plastic wrapping. But I'll have to check to see where this plastic is from, because it might be just recycled plastic, which is cool. It's better than nothing, isn't it? Oh, the sun's gone in. Oh, finally. It's been so hot today. I'm so glad. It's going to come back out in a minute, though, I know. So yeah, that's kind of how we've got it. I'm not going to do it up, but you know, you get the idea. How good is that? I don't know if any of you have heard about it already, but they're making a new Snow White movie, and apparently there was some controversy as to how accurately they should depict it in the new film, because there's a lot of very outdated, let's say outdated, subject matter in old fairy tales, and I'm going to show you some bits and kind of give you my point of view of it as well.
Trolls, warty witches, and magical kisses in fairy tales. I don't think the modern viewer can't handle a little bit of magic. Okay, it's all part of the fun.
Martha,
Yeah.
What do you make of this? You know, Laura's saying tread with caution when you make these remakes.
I mean, there's no reason you have to cut out all the magic. I think you've got to look at what I think the reason they're updating this is because the underlying moral of the story, which is that it's perfectly fine to kiss sleeping women non-consensually, which is a theme of lots of different fairy tales, is no longer like a modern idea, and they're updating it in that way. And I think that is, as I was saying before, that is perfectly traditional. And also we have to remember that we're not wiping the old stories from the internet, burning the books, getting rid of the old films. This is just a kind of an addition in the rich tapestry of the way that fairy tales have changed throughout the centuries, from the 1500s to today.
I tell you what though, I think Disney execs are going to be in crisis talks ever since Rachel Zegler's video resurfaced on TikTok. Although they will be dishing out poison apples.
What
because
she's
trashed the brand.
Watch it, won't they? They'll want to watch it.
It'll probably be interesting when it comes out, just to see what an updated version would be like, but apparently they're going to change it quite a lot so that it's not following the traditional storyline, as there's a lot of stuff that's offensive to people now, and I think people saying that it's not a good representation to show to people these days, or children these days, or anyone watching it really. There's always going to be a soft spot in my heart for the original Disney movies, because they're just classic, and I watched them when I was younger. I don't know if that's had an impact on how I see things in the world. I think there's a romanticization of fairy tales being lovely anyway, and making the world seem quite beautiful and romantic. So that part of it I think I love, and I don't want that to ever change. I don't know if I agree with some of the things in fairy tales. I know fairy tales have changed a hell of a lot as well over the years, as the original fairy tales that were then picked up by Disney were kind of changed to be a little bit more appealing to the market. So I know it's changed already, so now it's changing even more. You take one idea and then it gets reproduced so many times, and that's how people make things better, or how they make things more, I don't know if you can call it better actually. They think they're making it better in that moment because it's stuff that's more relevant to today's society. The actress who is playing Snow White, she had a lot of controversy around her because she's not German, I think it is. I think Snow White's German. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she is. But she's Latina, and so she was supposed to be this fair-skinned with black hair, so she's Snow White. And I think it was her snow white skin that they mentioned in the story. To me, it doesn't really bother me that much that she's different ethnicity. I think they can make the actor look how they want her to look, as in fitting that character, so it doesn't really matter. The things that she said though about the old stories is that the way that the story runs and how the prince kisses her and then she wakes up, she thinks that's wrong, as in that's not, there's no consent there, so it's wrong just to kiss someone without them giving consent. So that makes sense, and I completely agree with that. But the fairy tale is based around, that's what makes her up. And I know that the original fairy tale is different as well, and has different things in it. You might want to have a look at that if you haven't. I'm pretty sure you are aware though. But in the recent remake, I've forgotten what it's called, I think it's Mirror Mirror, where she kisses him instead. It does sound bad, but then I think that we have to stay with the original fairy tale. If you want to call it Snow White, I think it should be the original story. So whether or not you go right back to the original story, I don't know, but I think in a way it should be the original story. I think Disney did what they did with it, and so as a child I thought that was the only rendition of it, but obviously there was lots before. Now children are going to grow up with this new version of it, and I guess when they get older then they'll find out what the original version was. But there's just some part of me that thinks that you should just keep the traditional story and not play around with it too much, because it's not that story anymore. You might as well just call it something else. Don't take a piece of art from way back when and then create it again and then call it the same thing. You would call it something else because art's reproduced all the time, and we know, I'm pretty sure you know, that all art is just copies of other things, and because there's only so much you can create, but they're never going to be exactly the same. They're always going to be slightly different. Whether or not you choose to push yourself away from the original a little bit or not is up to you. With the naming of it as Snow White, I think there's an issue with me thinking I don't think you should call it Snow White if it's not that original story. I think the dwarves were an issue as well, because obviously they are depicting people with dwarfism, but I think the original story was showing dwarves in a fairy tale way, which meant that they were calling dwarves like a creature, which looking back now is really bad. And it's not like you would say, I don't know, someone with Down syndrome is a certain type of creature that you have in a fairy tale. So yeah, I can see that as offensive, and I think there's every right to change that. But I think that you should keep it as in they're creatures, but they're not dwarves. They're something else. And even though they look like little people, they could be anything, because you get fairies, you've got the borrowers, they're small people. I know it's not the same thing, but it's making it like far enough away from real life. So yeah, they've got to be really careful, and I'm kind of on the fence because I think I love fairy tales and I love the old versions of fairy tales more than I do the newer versions. I love traditionalism, I love things that are a little bit odd, and I like things that are a bit more controversial because I think there's more discussion around them. And I think, yes, there is some offence taken from a lot of older fairy tales, but then I think we've got to have representation of absolutely everything before we can say you can't do that. I think there should be lots more representation of different types of people and in different ways. I don't know if it's absolutely like, I don't think the representation of the dwarves is negative in the fairy tale, not from what I can remember. But maybe it's just calling them dwarves because they're not dwarves, and well, maybe they are dwarves, I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what they're meant to be, but it's thinking too much into it. But yeah, anyway, that's my 2 cents of the whole thing. I think it's interesting when we start to think about fairy tales in this sort of way, because they are not meant to be talked about in this, is it sociological way, or sociology? Yeah. Yeah, like modern day politics of people, what they call Wokism now, and people fighting against each other, saying that we should keep the old traditions, but then there's woke people who just want to make everything PC. That's all I can think about it anyway. But yeah, I'll stop talking about that now because I could go on forever, and it's probably one of those discussions that you could speak about things like that forever. But it'd be interesting to see what the film's actually like, because I do really enjoy fairy tale films and reproductions of things anyway, just to see how they do different things. So coming back to my character for the new book that I'm working on, I'm gonna really have to give it a name soon, aren't I, because it's just gonna get annoying with me saying the new book I'm working on. So I think we'll just call it The Book. So the book the book that I basically, I've got the character, he or she, I keep calling it he, so I feel like it's going to be a he, but he is sorted in the sort of way I wanted him to look, as a crappy door. That's not even the right way to say it. As in the not very nice looking door that's not looked after very well. And then this is what I'm thinking for when he's revitalized and made him look good. It's just a little sketch at the moment, but I'm thinking it's cool to do like, or it's cool, or it looks good to make him look more powerful and impressive looking, but also keep it modern. So I think this door probably will be a little bit darker, like to make it a bit more sleek, maybe with the gold letterbox, gold door handle and tiny keyhole, which I'll change from this little old-fashioned doorknob, and the door knocker's quite old-fashioned now as well, so I'm going to take that out, and it streamlines the face a little bit more. I think too many details on it are going to make it look more old-fashioned, so I think we'll keep all the colour in the glass. He'll have more of an extravagant looking face, so his eyes, I saw a lot of stained glass which was like really swirly and curvy bits of stained glass, and I thought that would look really good. And then I thought, because he had these plants growing out of him last time, that there'll be a nice potted plant outside instead, so it's purposeful and it looks like it's looked after. I thought what would be a really good idea actually is to have one of those letterboxes with a little handle on the front of it, which looks quite sleek in metal. He's not got, I wanted this to be missing on his original letterbox, so it looks more worn out, decayed, sort of not looked after. And then on this one it'll have a shiny brass letterbox or gold or whatever, you know, that sort of colour. but the handlebar gives him a slight cheeky smile, I think. So that's quite handy, because you want to try and get the face in there, but I don't want to take it away from being a door too much. So I think the eyes are good, but I don't need any other facial features to sort of portray the character. So yeah, that's where we got with the design of the character at the moment. I've been doing some story work, so basically trying to get the story together, which I'm going to show you some bits of now. So I've been thinking about the story, and obviously I've been I've been very, very slowly putting the story together. We're going to have this door in a house which is dilapidated, not very well looked after. Maybe it's been empty for a while, and so the door's the main character. Then I'm thinking a ghost living in the house, who the door will talk to. The door's quite lonely still, because there's no one living in this house, and I think he feels quite empty and he just wants someone there to look after him. That's why he's become in so much disrepair. So he's friendly with the ghost. The ghost is trying to help him. I think probably going to help clean up the house so that the house can go, you know, on the market and get sold, and someone might come. They might look across one day and just be like, oh, actually, I want to go for this house. And there may be a little spider in it as well. I did find an old sketch actually from one of my sketchbooks of a little spider, and I thought, hold on a minute, that'll look quite cute in this story. So I think there might be a spider living in the house that he is friends with as well, and he also helps. And I actually found a house when we were walking through a little town. I can't remember what the town was called, but when we were walking through the town on our way back from the Lake District, I'll pop it up on the screen actually if I can find out where the picture was. When the story is being told, I think a lot of it's going to be on the outside of the house, and I just really like this design of building. I also really like the colours, because I think the colours are going to work really well, and it's exactly what I was envisaging anyway, and I like how dilapidated it looks on the outside. The storyline mainly is going to be that this door wants to be looked after and wants someone to live in the house. Maybe it's been on the market for quite a long time. Maybe they don't get anyone looking at the property because it's so old and so dilapidated looking. They just want a fresh new family to move in and make it home. That's the ideas that I've got going at the moment. I think I just need to finesse it into an actual story, and then I'll be able to start writing it properly, I think, because at the moment it's a lot of idea planning, but it's coming together. It's just very slowly coming together, and I'm completely fine with it being a slow process anyway. I've tried to be as good as possible with my uploading. I do apologise, the last couple of weeks it's been a bit choppy because I've had a throat infection, and then we also went on holiday, so that happens, that things like that happen, don't they? But it just made things a bit more less often uploading. What am I on about? Just made things a little bit less I hope to see you in another video soon, and bye bye for now. Bye.